Hello, I'm Megan Kwame, CEO and co-founder of FactGem. Prior to starting FactGem, I was a top investment banker. I was the first woman banker at the oldest public finance firm in the country. I get data and that how it connects matters. My last deal, an over $100 million headquarters financing for a Fortune 200 company, ended with hundreds of Excel models. I needed a better way to extract insight from my investors and customers. I wanted Bloomberg for data. So I asked people in the tech industry if something like this existed. The answer was firmly no. I thought to myself, I can't be the only one with this problem. And as it turns out, I wasn't. Companies all over face the same problem that I did. They can get their data into one place, but they can't easily connect it without spending a lot of time and money. FactGem has solved this problem with great tech and a team of engineers that hail from the intelligence agencies. But the truth is, FactGem isn't just a technology solution. It's a solution for businesses, for the real world where businesses are run. With FactGem, you can easily connect data that is important to you across multiple data silos and build out your business logic in our data fabric shown here. If your data or the model changes, it's no problem. FactGem can accommodate that in real time, and we can continue to deliver insights. We don't change existing applications or disrupt software logic. Our data fabric links your data instantly and allows you to build applications to get you to insight. Let's imagine for just a moment that I am FBI Agent Kwame. I am in New York City studying crime patterns, and my boss has just asked me how weather affects these crime patterns. In 2 hours, I have to make a recommendation to my task force on how to best allocate resources given this information. The good news for me, with the applications that FactGem is launching here today, I can answer this quickly and without writing a line of code. Let's turn to the demo and take a look. Here, I am using preloaded data on crimes in New York City. Remember, I want to understand the correlation between crime and weather. I have already modeled my crime data using FactGem's whiteboarder, and now I will easily model my weather data and dynamically link it to my crime data. Once I have done this, I will turn to FactGem's uploader. I am ready to upload and map my weather data. What I will find is that most of my weather data automatically maps. For the few fields that don't map, it's easy. I will use FactGem's drag and drop tool shown here to continue my task. Now the weather data has been uploaded based on the rules that I expressed in whiteboarder. And presto, I'm ready to explore and visualize my data. Now with confidence, I am going to be able to look at my data and make a recommendation to my task force that as temperatures are approaching freezing, we should be allocating more resources. Let's turn back to the slides. Last summer, we were contacted by a Fortune 500 retailer looking for help. They had a giant CRM, data from everywhere that they were trying to pull together to get to insight. Their chief data scientist was beyond frustrated. She had e-commerce data, customer data, POS data, and was trying to answer an important, but what she thought should be simple question: who is our customer? So she asked FactGem if we could help. We promised delivery in 24 hours. We built a linked model across all stores and customers. We exposed new insight, and we did this in 6 hours, not 24. Now for this customer, we are looking across the country at thousands of stores, tens of millions of customers, and terabytes of data. And we are doing this all in a day's work. What about our competition? There are plenty of products that can help with relational databases or flat tables, but the funny part is they aren't so good at relationships at all. With the exception of Excel, all of the products on this page require some form of training, on-site consulting, expensive engineering, or days of code writing just to integrate the data before you've even gotten to insight. Excel is simple, but it's not very robust. FactGem is the only tool here that is easy to use and gets you to insight quickly. And we don't force you to change your business logic to fit a technology solution. Fortune 500 companies across the country are spending a tremendous amount of time, personnel, and expensive hardware trying to use BI services that aren't yielding the results that they're looking for. The numbers are pretty clear. This market is expected to reach $18 billion this year. These companies also want artificial intelligence and machine learning. They can't get there without first connecting their data and understanding the relationships within it. FactGem can do this instantly and without writing any code. If you don't believe me, take the FactGem challenge. Visit us at factgem.com, see us put your data together, and expose new insights in 24 hours. Thank you so much.
Judges?
Sure. So the presentation implied that there's very little implementation or integration. Is that correct? Or if you take a typical Fortune 100 company or 500 companies, what do you expect the integration to look like or to be like?
So we intentionally work very closely integration-wise on what is most comfortable for that company. Some companies are willing to expose their relational databases or the endpoints directly. Others are not comfortable with that whatsoever. So for example, with our Fortune 500 retailer, they run nightly exports from their databases that we ingest automatically, because that's what's most comfortable for them.
Just as a follow-on to this, how long would that process last in that particular retailer?
Sure. So it definitely depends upon the nature of the model, how much data they're exporting on a regular basis, and how much infrastructure they've put into it. For this particular case, we do over 10 million rows in about 2 hours a night.
Can you talk a little bit about what's proprietary about the methods that you're using to create these insights?
Yep, absolutely. So our method of modeling the data for allowing businesses to actually model visually and to encode actual business logic for how their data should be treated according to the business rules. That's all proprietary, as well as all the technology and techniques we use for matching up the data automatically as it loads and making sure that there's no corruption of the data.
What do you see as the limitations of your approach? Here are the advantages, but what do you see as the limitations?
Sure. So we've focused very heavily on getting the data loaded, allowing businesses to model it themselves without having to write any code or involve expensive IT shops. And because of that, we haven't focused heavily on connecting technologies or on super fancy data visualizations. We've wanted to focus on the core piece of the data to make sure we have that right. And then we can expose technologies such as connectors and new visualizations either through partners or as customers require.
Are there specific sectors that you're focusing on initially?
We've been primarily focused on enterprise customers that have data integration problems, like our customer that we referenced today. So people who have a lot of data but can't get it together easily and need to move at a faster speed.
Can you talk a little bit about the insights for this particular Fortune 500 retailer that you were able to share after you reviewed their data?
Sure. So I think one of the most interesting, at least to me, was related to customers and just behavioral patterns and being able to move to a place where, for example, you come in and purchase a new product. When you do that, you get a free gift. Many of us have that situation occur. They were under the impression that when a customer would return a product, they were not also getting a free gift, but found out by exposing all of this data, putting it together, that in fact, Megan could come in and get my free gift again without actually purchasing anything.
How many people in the company?
The initial idea was in 2011, and we put the team together in 2013 on a full-time basis.
How big is the team?
We have about a dozen people, and it's mostly focused on engineering.
And how are you going to go to market? Is it direct sales?
Yes, and so to date, we have been really focused on word of mouth sales. For example, in the data science community, you look at chief data scientists, it's a very tight community. So there's been a lot of talk within that, and we've been getting phone calls and outreach from that. And now, hopefully, with things like being here, this is really the first major marketing event we've done, and you're looking at the de facto sales team. So.
First sales attempt. Give them some encouragement.
Thank you.
Not good enough, try better.
Thank you.
Any final questions? All right, then clap one more time for FactGem.
Thank you.